On the news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari approves a $1 billion for the purchase of security equipment. In business, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiko, commissions Oandos PLC's new office space in Lagos. And on the foreign scene, Turkey, Russia to build a hospital for Syrians fleeing Eastern Ghouta. Hello there, and many thanks for joining us on Superscreen's flagship news, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adinke Owoye Ajiboye. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the release of $1 billion to Nigerian defense authorities for the purchase of security equipment to fight insecurity in the country. The Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, discussed this while speaking with journalists at the end of a security meeting chaired by the President. Dan Ali said today's meeting is a normal meeting of security agencies in the country. The minister also said the recent deployments to Zamfara and other neighboring states of Sokoto and Katsina is expected to take care of security challenges in the area. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to commence an assessment of the extent of damage in communities affected by violence caused by herdsmen farmers clashes in some parts of the country. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, who was represented by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Laolu Akonde, discussed this during the inaugural meeting of the recently composed Governing Council of NEMA at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Oshibajo urged the agency to devote more resources to public sensitization regarding matters of emergency in the country and what the public needed to do in such circumstances. The Vice President also said that NEMA should engage stakeholders more to participate in addressing its responsibilities, including the private sector and the civil society organization. And our governors of the All Progressives Congress, APC, have resolved to align with President Muhammadu Buhari on tenure elongation of party officials. The Zamfara State Governor, who spoke on behalf of the governors, said after several meetings of all APC governors and stakeholders, they have resolved to respect the party's constitution. The President had on March 27, 2018, rejected the tenure extension for the All Progressives Congress APC National Chairman John Oyego and other elected state officials. The President told members of the National Executive Council (NEC) of the party in Abuja that the tenure elongation is illegal. The Nigeria Police Force says it will arraign Senator representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Dino Malai, and the 4 suspects re-arrested for alleged conspiracy and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms at the Federal High Court in Lokoja on May 10. ACP Jim Moshood, who said this while parading the re-arrested suspects in Kogi State, also confirmed that 2 of the suspects are still at large. The police PRO also gave information on how the suspects were re-arrested by men of the Nigeria Police Force.
The 2 principal suspects, that's Kabiru Saidu and Nuhu Salisu, they are going to be arraigned in court on 10th of May 2018, along with Senator Dino Malai and Mohamed Aoudi, for which the Federal High Court Lokoja have issued a criminal summons for them to appear on that date. I want to equally say that the Nigerian Police Force wrote to the Senate President on the 2nd of March 2018, asking the Senate President to impress it on Senator Dino Malai the need for him to appear before the Commissioner of Police, Kogi State Police Command, on the 7th of March 2018. But up till now, as we speak, the senator have refused to show up. When the case came up on the 16th of March 2018, the court issued a criminal summons on Senator Dino Melaye to appear in court on the 28th of March 2018. And it was on this day that these two principal suspects that indictedly escaped from Norfolk. And the court adjourned the matter to the 10th of May 2018.
ACP Moshood also warned that the police would not relent in its efforts to check activities of unscrupulous politicians, adding that they must adhere to the bidding of the Constitution. He, however, commended members of the public for giving information to the police, which led to the rearrest of the suspect. You will recall that Senator Dino Melaye had given a 48-hour ultimatum to the Inspector General of Police to produce the escaped prisoners or risk being sued.
This was hereby called on Senator Dino Melaye, on whose warrant of arrest had been issued and he had been declared wanted and equally listed red alert on the Interpol for him to see reason why he should honor the order of court and appear in court on the 10th of May 2018. The Nigerian Police Force is at liberty to ensure that nobody is above the law, nobody is a sacred cow, except those who have immunity as recognized by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So Senator Dino Melaye, in his own interest, should make himself available in court on the 10th of May 2018.
Assistant Commissioner of Police speaking there. And now moving on, a member of the House of Representatives, Rita Oje, representing Ajeromi Ifelodun constituency, has attributed the problem of Nigeria to poverty and ethnicity. The legislator discussed this during a tour to commission new projects in her constituency. Rita Oje is one legislator who is passionate about humanity, growth and development. Rita, who represents Ajeromi Ifelodun Constituency 1, takes the passion to the next level as she commissions new projects. She also went on an inspection tour of new projects to be carried out in Ajegule. In an interview with Superscreen, she speaks on her drive and her idea of good governance.
Good governance is the totality of the activities of people that are placed in authorities. How do they manage the power and how do they manage to rule? What is the gain of being in governance when you cannot affect the life of the people? Why would people stand under the sun and rain to vote for you when you are going there not to return again? Good governance is exemplary. What are you going to be, or what are you doing? Do you come home? Do you even know the problem of your area? Have you stand up in that house to analyze the problem your people are going through? Or do you sit down there for 4 years to sleep and wake up?
Rita, who is also a lover of young ones, organized a fun time for the children in Ajegule. She shares her vision for her constituency in the nearest future.
My future plan is seeing Ajegule greater than Ikoyi. I want to see Ajegule better than Victoria Island. I want to see Ajegule children topping the stairs. I want to see Ajegule people removed from the list of slums or urban rural dwellers. I want to talk about Ajegule. This is the area where people like Honorable Rita and other people have come out from. People that had made impact into humanity. Because you know, change belongs to posterity, and posterity is about humanity. So what I want to see in Ajegule is not Ajegule with rickety roads, with destroyed electric cables, with blocked sewage system. I want to see Ajegule that is bigger and better and robust, where peace and tranquility reign.
Constituency projects carried out by lawmakers as Rita Oje is a challenge to others who have refused to contribute their quota to their constituency. Stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress, APC, have thrown their weight behind the embattled state chairman of the party, Donatus Uwankpa, and members of the State Working Committee, SWC. The stakeholders, after passing vote of confidence on Uwankpa's led leadership, also ratified the suspension of a chieftain of the party, Ikechi Emenike, a former governorship candidate in the state who was suspended by his ward members for alleged anti-party activities in conjunction with the SWC and other leaders of the party. The motion for the vote of confidence passed on Uwankpa, which was moved by the Southeast Zonal Woman Leader, Sally Chinebu, and seconded by a former Minister of Labour and Productivity, Emeka Wogu. Months after a bill to regulate non-governmental organizations, NGOs, failed at the National Assembly, the government has announced plans to profile NGOs. The federal government says the profiling is to ensure compliance with regulations against money laundering and terrorist financing. Director of Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, Francis Hussaini, discussed this at a regional workshop on money laundering organized by the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, GEBA. Hussaini said the profiling would address some deficient NGOs in the country. A group of street sweepers attached to the Edo State Waste Management Board in Benin have staged a protest to demand payment of their unpaid 6-month salaries. Spokesperson of the group, Glory Omorige, said the workers have found things difficult, particularly in catering for their family needs. The group, who narrated the ordeal, called on the government to heed their cries and pay their salaries, which dates back as October 2017.
Have patient, I could reach 6 months now. That's 6 months now, they don't want to pay us. We become last 2 weeks now. He begged us for getting, now we go back. We still come today now because he wanted to see for hard now. We know what our money they grant. The first money when we first sweep now, 6 months, they don't pay. We'll see start from the 7 months again. Make them pay us now. May government beg, when government pay our money. We did in risk. So we go on robbers will lay us. What our phone? Even our co-worker. I'm about rape. You rape one. This says I rape one. About 10 weeks ago, I rape one for those. Because we sleep. He one was in prophecy. We not get us man. So one night he get that's it now. He pregnant. I say as all this work. Nobody help the woman. I beg government. Maybe our money.
Street sweepers in Benin, they're agitating for payment of the 6 months' salaries. And now moving on, the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Texas Chico, says troops deployed in the Army exercise IM Akpatuma, also known as Catchphrase, have killed one herdsman and rescued 2 persons in Benue State. Brigadier General Chiku said the soldiers intercepted a large number of armed herdsmen on Tuesday in Assam village in Guma local government area of the state following a tip-off. Chiku said bandits on sighting the troops at Uka and Babanruwa area opened fire on them and that during the encounter, one herdsman was killed. He said soldiers on patrol elsewhere rescued the 2 persons who were shot by suspected herdsmen along Bajima Kaseyo Road in Benue State. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with the government and people of Katsina State in the National Assembly on the death of Senator Mustafa Bukar, who represented Katsina North constituency. In a statement by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the president described Bukar's death as a great loss to Nigeria's democracy and the engineering profession. President Buhari also sent condolences to the family members, friends, and professional colleagues of the deceased, who he noted distinguished himself as an engineer before vying for political office to serve his people. Coming up on the news, a Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiko, commissions Oando PLC's new office space in Lagos. We join us for details of this and more after this time out in Business News. Well, it's so glad to have you back now in Business News. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiko, has inaugurated Oando's PLC's new office space called the Wings Office Complex in Lagos State. Kachiko, who congratulated Oando for the achievement, said Oando has shown uniqueness as a Nigerian oil company, showing support to the government and the Nigerian populace. The Group Chief Executive of Oando PLC, Wale Tinubu, said passion is not only one of the core values of Oando, it drives their ambitions. The federal government has urged the member countries of the Niger Basin Authority to pay their contributions in order to effectively develop the region, which currently has over 130 million people. According to the government, the development of the Niger Basin cannot be achieved without adequate funding, as the livelihood of millions of residents of the region is at risk. Speaking on behalf of the Nigerian government at the technical experts meeting of the 36th ordinary session of the Council of Ministers of the NBA in Abuja, the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, said that climate change had dealt a severe blow on the region. Suleiman, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, Musa Ibrahim, told delegates at the event that the Niger Basin area is rich in its diversity and has a population of more than 130 million inhabitants. Foreign portfolio investors' transactions at the Nigerian Stock Exchange has dropped by 123 billion naira in the first 2 months of the year. Domestic transactions fell to 128.83 billion naira in February from 274.32 billion naira recorded in December, and this is according to the NSE Domestic NFPI report. Foreign portfolio investments stood at 3.22 billion naira in February compared to 206.48 billion naira recorded in December. Total transaction at the nation's bourse dropped by 55.9% from 480.80 billion naira in December to 212.05 billion naira in February. And that's it in business. Now, still ahead on the news. Turkey, Russia to build a hospital for Syrians fleeing Eastern Ghouta. Details of these and more coming up shortly.